Hey YouTubers, Grimmy here, and this is the video review for the Transformers Timelines Thrustinator. The third figure of the Transformers subscription service 2.0 has arrived, and it's this fusion of Thrust and Waspinator. The two sides of the same coin have been mashed together in a very interesting way. Yeah, so why don't we take a closer look at this cyberbug? Now, Thrustinator actually is a repaint of one of the Beast Wars Metals line figures in Japan. I believe it was called Dirge. But basically, this particular type was actually a robotic fusion of beast and machine, which was later explored in the US line, so as the Transmetal 2s and the Beast machines. Although Thrustinator here is a very unusual mold. Instead of being more of a blend of the two types, it's looks like a cyborg, pretty much. You got, looks like the machine parts were actually put onto a bug, which I guess works. But you can see good bits of the of Waspinator and Thrust. He's got a bit of a Two-Face vibe in his wasp head. And you can, scattered throughout the body, like the head, the thorax, the abdomen, you got bits and pieces of both Waspinator and Thrust. Although it does seem to be more Waspinator. The wings are made of a translucent plastic, like the Beast Wars toys. And it's designed to look like a jet wing of sorts, with turbines in the wing, which is a nice touch and really does harken back to the Thrust name. Kind of gives it a G1 homage, which is cool. I like that. But the wings are still on the ball joints, so you can pose them around. These forelegs here do not move, but the back legs are ball jointed on the well, at the hips and the knees, I guess, for lack of a better term. Now, he also has an attack mode in this form. This cannon will flip out. Excuse me. Yeah, sometimes the way the transformation works can come loose and cause him to falter a bit. So, yeah, we'll get that adjusted. Yeah. But you got a cannon that flips out from the back, and also be a thruster. And much like the original Beast Wars toy, the missiles will store in the wings. Let me just... So you can actually put the missile in the cannon, pull back, and it fires actually very nicely. So that's a pretty cool thing. And that just flips back when you're done. But all in all, it is a nice little beast mode. Very Frankensteinish, like a mishmash of parts. But, you know, given this is supposed to be some kind of crazy fusion between Thrust and Waspinator, like they couldn't, after the reformatting of the planet, I guess it works. But I guess we should get some comparisons in now. So we're going to first compare it with the most obvious choice, and that would be the original Beast Wars Waspinator, or more to the point, the 10th anniversary version. which is the one I have. As you can see, you know, this one was heavily retooled from him, and it shows. Like this half of the face is the same. You know, most of the thorax and abdomen are the same. Just a couple of thighs, the wings, one of the legs. It was just some parts switched out for the thrust parts. Another comparison, we'll put it in Generations Waspinator. So you can see that how he looks with that. And we'll get some thrusts in here as well. We got the Viacon bike drone. We'll get the Waspinator out of the way for a moment. And Beast Machine's thrust. As you can see, that you can kind of see where the paint detail for the thrust parts came from. More from this one here, although they're using lighter shades of yellow and pink for them. So I guess that's more to match the show color schemes. As you can see, there is bits and pieces of both Thrust and Waspinator in this. But enough of the beast mode. Let's get him into robot mode and see how he looks there. Thrustinator's robot mode is a little bit funny looking, I guess. Yeah, he looks like Waspinator after one of his many accidents. One of the bad ones, too. And it looks like it's kind of like Waspinator got in one of his little accidents, and they couldn't find the right parts for him. So they just put together what they could and slapped it on him. Which actually makes sense. A little bit more sense that he and the thrust being fused together and being put in a melding of their bodies. Especially since Thrust and Waspinator are pretty much one and the same anyway. I could actually see Waspinator getting blown up again, and they just put together what they can because they couldn't find the right parts for him. And this is what he came out as. But all in all, it's not a bad figure, really. I mean, I do like the mishmash look. It's very, well, it's interesting. It's the best word I could find for it. I mean, but the figure does have a new head sculpt, which I want to bring in. And it's actually a nice little cross between Waspinator and Thrust's faces. Like, it's not like one side, it's not a two-face look, but it's more of a blending of the two. Like, you got the Waspinator eye on one side, Thrust's eye on the other. And then you got a bit of Thrust's mouth and Waspinator's mouth. And a little bit of Thrust's forehead on top, just for added bits. And the antennae are actually painted with the stripes, which is good. He has a Predacon symbol right on his chest. The wings work pretty well. The legs are interesting. You got one foot that's more thrust-like, and on the opposite thigh is a thrust bit. And it's not one side is Thrust, one side is Waspinator. No, they really went all out to mix the cybernetic and the organic with this one. And you got his standard blaster, which is also a fusion of Thrust and Waspinator's parts. And the arms are all Waspinator, which is interesting. They didn't bother putting any cyber parts on that. While the wings are all thrust, even though thrust never had wings. But, you know, what can you do? Now he does have an attack mode, where you just unpeg the wasp head parts from the chest, and then pull down the cod piece, like this waist piece, which seems to be stuck. There we go. And then you can actually move the gun out and create. And look! He has the lockdown gimmick. His head can turn into a gun. Isn't that special? Doing it before lockdown did. So, yeah. You got that. And, you know, just... yeah, this part is difficult to peg in at times. Especially when you put in that thigh piece. And the cyber side is hard to peg into his chest. There we go. Yeah. Alright, so for articulation, he has a ball-jointed head. Doesn't get a whole lot of up and down movement though, but you can go left and right easily. He has ball-jointed shoulders. There's going to be a little hindrance with the wasp legs and the wings crashing into each other, but other than that, it's fine. He has bicep swivel, a nice elbow bend. No waist joint, but he does have ball-jointed hips and ball-jointed knees. The knees are a bit loose though, and due to the way the knees, like the shins, become the wasp legs, they can come apart kind of easy. So you might want to look out on both of those parts. He also has ball joints in the wings, so you can actually move those around as you see fit. And like the gun on the back, on his back, you can load a missile into Waspinator's other gun and fire. That one even fires better than the back gun. So you have that. And the missiles just store right onto the wings. You got one on each wing, so you can actually arm up both guns at once if you want. But for comparisons, let's bring in the 10th anniversary Waspinator. We'll bring in Beast Machine's Thrust, who somehow killed his future mishmash self. There we go. Got him back alive again. We'll bring in the Bike Drone, which is a lot closer to looking like Thrust than his deluxe counterpart. And the new generation's Waspinator. As you can see, Thrustinator does do a good job of mixing the two components. You can definitely see bits of both Thrust and Waspinator in this toy, which is good. There is one gimmick that from the original Waspinator that Thrustinator did not receive because of the gun turret thing. But it's not one that most used anyway. But it was where you can actually, there was a second head to Waspinator. which is a more regular robot head. Thrustinator does not have that feature, just due to the fact that the alternate head was replaced by the gun on his back. Still, Thrustinator is a really interesting piece. If you're a fan of Waspid Air and Thrust, he's worth it. Okay, he is a really interesting one. I like him, he is cool. Oddly enough, I really can't say much more than interesting for the look, though. But if you have the subscription, you'll see this guy, if you haven't got him already, within the next few days of this recording, at least. If you haven't, I don't know if he's going to be available on the club store or not, but I would recommend trying to hunt him down, and if you can get a good price on him. Okay, but anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time. So long, have fun, and bye-bye.